Hi there. Now I'm going to talk about a very important function in QlikSense scripting. So this is called a mapping function. So the in, as part of scripting, I'd like to cover this topic. This is a mapping function. So this is a very important scripting function. Sorry, the QlikSense, even the scripting is same in both QlikView and QlikSense. Most of the 90, I would say like 90%, 99% scripting is the same in case of QlikView and QlikSense. So maybe there could be some additional features in QlikSense, or maybe some features in which is there in QlikSense which may not be there in QlikView and vice versa. So I will focus on a mapping function. So I'd like to give a sample. Uh, I'd like to create a sample QA file called a mapping function. So I have already opened an app. So this is just to give a demo of how the mapping function works. So let's say I'll just go with a very simple example to understand this function. So it is always this is how I do personally to understand any function in QlikSense. I'll just go with very simple example so that I don't get bogged down with the complex data. So as always, it is best to go with very simple data whenever you just want to understand particular function. So I'll just give a very simple example. Let's say I have a data like this. So I'm just doing a inline load. Let's say we have vehicle, or I'll just say car, uh, and manufacturing country. I'll just say country. So this means to say, like, you can just assume it as let's say car is Hyundai, manufacturing country is let's say Korea. I think it's Korea. Not sure. And let's say Toyota, Japan, for America. Then that's General Motors, USA. Let's some more cars. Let's what are the main car manufacturing countries? India, Korea, Japan. And Japan, I think even Honda belongs to Japan. Let's say it's just written as JP. Then we have this. I'm not able to recollect. Okay, let's say one more which belongs to Korea. I'll just say like maybe Yamaha. Yamaha, we don't have any car. It's Yamaha, so I'll just say XYZ. Just to take an example, XYZ, again it belongs to, let's say, Korea. Maybe it is written like this, and that's it. So the data that you have is like this. So I'll just say this is table as car manufacture, manufacturing country. And this is the table name. So I'll just save it. I'll load the data. So as you can see here, the country, in some cases it is Korea, in some cases it is KOR, and even in case of Japan it is Japan, and somewhere they are just using the abbreviation JP. So what I would like to maybe there I would like to do like a country as a standard, like a country ID, because this kind of data set sometimes you face some issues when you build the data model. So always it is better to go with a country ID. Basically, this is a dimensional data. So this is a static data. So this kind of master data where it won't change. So country name will remain same as the country name. So we just want to create something like a master table where you have country ID and the corresponding country name. So how I'm going to do this. So I don't want this country name. I just want, instead of country name, I want here country ID. So let's say Korea ID would be like one. So I want to, wherever Korea comes in, the country ID should be one. So what I'm going to do, so in this kind of cases, the mapping function comes very handy. So how to create a, so to use make use of the map, I hope you got the scenario what I'm talking about. So I don't want the country name which is inconsistent. I want a country ID which is consistent for as part of the more consistent data set. So I just want a unique country ID for each country, and that I want to go as part of my main data set or the main table. So let me just create. So how it goes is always you have to create a mapping table first. Then you can use the that mapping table through apply map function. So first I am going to create a mapping table. So always again any table that you are going to create is through load statement. So just proceed the load statement with the mapping function. Mapping load start inline. Sorry, country ID, country name, just the country. So this field and this field should be same. So country ID, I'll just say for Korea it is, let's say, KR. So KR, then Japan. So I just also to keep it very consistent, so for everything it should be the same ID. Okay. uh, US, that is USA, or you can call US as more precise. So that's fine. Just for an example, America. So this is my mapping table. So I'll just name it all as best practices to proceed mapping table with map underscore country master. Exit script, just I just want to verify my code is correct here. Data. So as you can see, it has successfully executed. So the mapping, if you go to data model, you can't see the data model. The reason is there is no data table got created because that is one of the main feature of mapping function. So the main advantage of using mapping function is the mapping table that you create here. This gets created in dynamically when only during the script run. So this is only the runtime table. So whenever you run the script, it will create the table. Then you have to make use of that table during the runtime itself in other part of your script through apply map. Because once the script execution completes, this table is dropped automatically in by the Qlik engine. So this that way this will not introduce any additional table in your data model. So that way your data model will be more optimized and in terms of space also it will reduce. It will not hog with any additional space that it won't consume any extra space because this is just created during the runtime and dropped off after once your the script execution completes. So this is one of the major advantage of using mapping function compared to instead of using the let's say any other like maybe joining with the table or any physical table as such. So now I have the mapping table. So how I am going to use this table here. So the scenario what I was talking about is I want the country ID instead of country name. So if I just comment this out, save it, load data. So if I go to data model, you can see the table got created. So what I want here is I just want car and the country ID instead of country name. So let's say what happens. So how I'm going to do that? So through using mapping function. So what I will do is I'll just uncomment this again and I will do a preceding load. So I'll talk about preceding load and different loading techniques in another video. So this video is exclusively I'm talking about the mapping function usage of it. So I'll say load star comma. So how to use the mapping table is through apply map function. So just say apply map. So the first parameter will be your mapping table. That should be in single quote. And the field that you want to replace with. So here in my, you have to use the field that is there in your table. So that field data will be replaced with the corresponding mapped field, which is country ID. So, so the third parameter would be like, let's say you have something like this. Let's say ABC India. So in your mapping table, you don't have the country name India. So when when there is no match found, so what should be the resulting set? So if there is a match, it is going to fetch the corresponding country ID. If there is no match found, then uh, for that we'll just give, we have to give as a third parameter for unmatched country. So let's say rest of the, or I'll just say unmatched country. So we have to give something which is going to when there is no match. So the third parameter will be replaced with that unmatched country name. So this I will name it as country ID. This is actually what I'm doing is a preceding load. As you can see, this is the inside table output of this goes to this load statement, and this function gets executed apply map. Then that in turn will get the data from this and replace the country name with country ID. So let's run this and see what happens. I'll just take the screenshot of this our original table. This is how it was. Sorry about that. Just snipper here. So I'll just go back to data load editor and run my script. So script got executed successfully. Let me go to the data model viewer. Nothing is there. So I think there is some issue. I need to fix that. What's the issue? Because it has, as you can see, this is disabled means there is no table got created. So what's the issue here? So and also to be mentioned, it is case sensitive. So it should very yes, generally click or QlikSense, everything is very case sensitive, so it should be very field name specifically. It should be very cautious while writing the field names. So country. So here I'll just pause for a second and be back.